Joined right now is UFC lightweight Austin Hubbard. Austin, it's been a while. How have you been living?
I've been pretty good, man. I can't complain, just life.
Exactly, man. Moving forward, before we got on camera, I was talking about the I guess it's in embroidery in the background. Is that what it is?
I think they call them a tapestry.
Okay, tapestry, right? And
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
samurai.
Give a yeah, give a better
Perfect.
view of
Yeah,
it.
perfect. Have you watched
Yeah.
The Age of Samurai on Netflix?
I have started. I haven't finished it yet, though.
How do you like it so far?
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's cool how they kind of mixed like the history in with like the actual show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It is, man. It's cool to learn about like those warriors. I had no
Yeah,
idea about samurais because everybody's obsessed with samurais, but really they don't
yeah,
know much about them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's cool to get educated on that. So now, with you and the last year or so, you've been through some. You've had some. I don't want to say weird moments, but had some unique happenings in your career, especially with the leg, and then that fight
Yeah,
with Max Roscoff. When you look back at
yeah.
those moments, what did you learn most from all of that?
Um, I feel like the most I've learned from a fight so far in my UFC career, honestly, is this last one,
Mm.
where I just took that loss to Joe Selecki. And he was a very talented fighter. But I learned a great lesson in that fight. And my mental approach to fight night and making sure I'm mentally there fight night and everything has drastically changed since that fight. What's it gonna? I had an injury, had another surgery actually, which is why I've had such a long layoff between fights. I think it's going on close to 8 or 9 months. I don't remember exactly, but uh, in that time, I've worked with a mental coach. We pretty much weekly. I've been either reading or listening to audiobooks. A lot of them about like mental training type of things along those lines, and I just really dove into that area because I felt like that was somewhere that I really needed to improve, and it's somewhere I wouldn't have gone as deep into if it wasn't for, well, really any of the losses I've taken, but that was the kind of the final straw where I'm like, all right, I gotta address this issue. I just not again, not to take anything away from my opponents. They're all great opponents. They're all very skilled and everything. I just felt like I was having a bit of a mental lapse, or not a mental, well, yeah, mental lapse, but I just wasn't starting the way I liked. So I just went and going to try and make some changes and fill some holes, and same with training, make some changes, fill some holes, and like I said, that's not really an area I've ever touched on too crazy much, just because I really didn't have to, up until this point. So though that would be my biggest, growing or changing in my UFC career so far, opposed to like any injuries or anything like that.
All right, before we get to the mentor side, before we dig deep into that, the injury, the surgery, like what happened?
I fractured my orbital. Like the whole inside wall got blown out, and then the muscle that moves my eye got trapped in there, or in the fracture, I guess. And so they had to go in, put the muscle back into place, and then I have a plate in there now, and yeah.
You're like the bionic man now, once
I
you get the
know, I'm
plate,
getting there. I'm getting there.
you get there. You be like what is it, that old Austin Power? Is it Austin Powers? Steve Austin, the $5 million man or something back in the
Yeah,
day?
yeah, yeah. Or is it the Man of Mystery or
Yeah,
something?
some, I don't know. I think
Yeah, yeah.
so long
However you
ago, I don't
call it.
remember. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
so having that surgery and the recovery, it allowed you to stay away from a lot of physical activity. But like you said, you worked on the mental
yeah,
side, so it must have been something that
exactly.
you immersed yourself in.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wasn't allowed to even get my heart rate up for shit, I think close to 3, maybe 4 months. And so I was really bored. Can't work out. What am I gonna do? So yeah, I really, really jumped into that, full on, dove head first, into that. And, I feel like it's helped me greatly for sure.
Did you also, get to enjoy life a little bit more instead of being just so fight, 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 all the time?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's rare that I take, usually I'll give myself 2 weeks after each fight. 2 weeks, relax, do what I want, eat what I want, and then after that 2 weeks is up, I'm pretty much in a training camp. The only thing that changes when I'm like not in a camp is basically my diet. Obviously, there's small details that change when I have a fight opposed to I don't have a fight, but the amount of times I'm training it per day and everything else is pretty much the same. So yeah, that time off, it was nice.
Mhm.
It was good and it sucked all at the same time. It's just kind of making the best of the situation.
Yeah, no doubt. Now to the mental to the mental side of the game, you said that you didn't really think about it too much in the past. Did you see other people utilizing the mental side and did you just kind of brush it off? Is that what was the attitude in the
No,
past?
in the past, coming up on the regional scene,
Mm.
I don't know. I didn't stress myself out as much to, perform, and the pressure and all that, sort of things, that are new well, for me anyways, it was new sort of type of pressure, like pressure to perform, now this is my job. I gotta
Mhm.
perform, to make money, make a living, support my family. And all these pressures I just kept putting on myself, and thinking I had to do things a certain way. And I've always had really great camps. Like, it wasn't even that. And that was, I would almost like get ahead of myself a little bit, and not actually. And then come fight night, in my mind, obviously I always play certain scenarios over the fight, what if scenarios, things like that. But now it's just at a completely different level of involving just fight night. And anything beyond there is that's not in the picture yet. So just trying to stay a lot more present minded type of things, a day by day focus, all things along those lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely
Yeah.
understand you and your position of being in the UFC and having that pressure. Do you feel like the pay structure, right, the show and the win money? If let's say you guys got flat fees, do you think the pressure would be off a little bit and you would just mostly just focus on fighting? That's it.
Honestly, I do. I was actually thinking this the other day when I seen the new pay for Venom coming out and everything. It was just a thought in the back of my mind. I was like, man, because I know some people do structure their contracts like that, where it's just a lump sum and that's what they get. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, man, I wonder if I'm to the point where they'll let me do something like that. I don't know how many fights or like what's the criteria for getting something like that, but yeah, I 100%, believe that would kind of help alleviate some of that like performing pressure, because you're getting this set amount, not, if you lose it's cut in half. Because for me anyways, I'm like, I was really dependent on that money. It's when you're first into the UFC, you're not making like the big bucks quite yet. So depending on that money, it kind of freezes you a little bit, makes you a little hesitant. You're nervous to make a mistake because you don't want to get caught and lose, But then you're in the position of, well, shit, I'm losing because I'm not going out and performing the way I should. So, I don't know. It's kind of a weird. It's a weird realm to be in. You know what I mean? And I feel like with through all this mental training and everything, I feel like I have it under control now. But yeah, I do 100% agree and believe that having just a lump sum payment would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you too, man. I agree that the lump
Yeah,
sum payment and then the fight night bonuses is just something
yeah.
extra that you could get if you do perform well. With the mental coach coming in and you getting back into training, what differences do you see in yourself the last couple of months?
Just basically just like, I feel like my whole mindset has changed, as far as like facing challenges, my ability to focus, each practice to practice, being a lot more intentful, with each practice, a lot of like envisioning in my mind of, before training starts and then going into training and doing it type of things. All these like kind of little things that I think just have really helped my focus. Skill set wise, I feel like I was always right there, like good, skill wise, good work wise. So I'm just, tightening up the mental thing, making sure the smaller things that I can control or in better control, things like that.
Yeah, you've seen Corey Sandhagen. Same thing with him,
Yeah, yeah.
He's turned the corner.
We've talked about that actually a little bit also. Obviously we're teammates, we train together and everything. So, it's nice kind of having someone like him, who you've seen him, him say, I, just didn't show up. I just wasn't as focused as I needed to be in that Aljamain fight, or however he worded it. And, now you see the changes he's made mentally, and now you see the way he's performing. And I'm not saying like, oh, that's what I'm going to do now. Hopefully it is, but we'll see when I get there. But it is very nice to have someone on that kind of same path where they make that changes, address that, type of mental hole. Because I feel like that's something, maybe not for everyone, but in my opinion, it seems like something that gets kind of overlooked a lot. I'm not the most familiar with who's all doing it, and perhaps there's a lot, I don't know. But for me, like, it's a game changer for sure.
It's good to have that juice too, like a guy that is like a couple steps ahead of you, and he's showing the positive effects of it. And it's, you get that little confidence, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go to your next fight, man. Latan Levy, he's a Contender Series winner. What are your overall feelings about the talent coming out of that show?
Yeah, I mean, that show I feel like has been a great thing that UFC like has done, as far as like bringing in new talent and even helping grow the UFC. Because I feel like, the first season of the Contender Series, it was successful. All the seasons have been successful, but I feel like they just keep up in the, notch each season. And it's becoming like a legit way to get into the UFC. And it's been great for the UFC. I feel like, I don't remember the stats exactly, but I remember them seeing them saying like the amount of like ranked fighters that come through the Contender, and it's up there. Like the proof is in the pudding. It's working, you know what I mean? So it's a cool way for regional people to get into the UFC, because it gives them a ton of exposure. But it's hard. Those are talented fighters. They're right there, getting ready to be in the UFC, and it shows in the show.
Definitely. It's better than the Ultimate Fighter, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep. And they do an awesome job, hyping it all up and everything else. So I think it's really cool that they do that.
You got Latan Levy, like I said, back-to-back Contender Series guys. When you break him down, what do you see?
First thing, I'm actually not fighting him anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a call. He got an injury and he backed out. I mean, we can still break it down if you want, but
no, but like, do you have anybody lined up? Did they give you?
Not yet. Not yet.
All right.
Yeah, so I found out Friday morning, and I'm hoping to hear something really soon. Okay. I wasn't too crazy worried about it. Last time this happened, it was on a week's notice, and they had like, a few different names thrown my way within like a day or two, and so being we had at the time a little over 2 weeks, I'm like, all right, they're gonna find someone, no problem. But each day that passes, I don't get a call. I get a little more nervous about it. But I'm here. I'm ready to fight. So I don't know why they wouldn't. It's the UFC. Everyone wants their shot. So I'm sure they'll come up with something for sure.
Oh yeah. I think so. Yeah. They're gonna bring somebody. They always find find
always.
someone.
I've literally seen them replace a fight on like the fight week, like Wednesday or something, like, you know what I mean? So I'm sure they'll come through.
Yeah, so we don't have to talk about an opponent. We talk about you. You know, what are you expecting
Okay.
then? You know, with all, not all the changes, but the changes of being mentally more clear, you know, clear in your mind heading into a fight.
Yeah.
What do you expect in your performance?
I think a better start for sure. A lot more aggression. Not as much of hesitation type of, you know. At least that's what I want and what I've been envisioning and working for. So, I think the things that I've been doing mentally will definitely help. Step in that direction for sure.
All right. Well, April 17th, hopefully they get that
Yeah,
opponent ready
yeah,
for you. No matter what, I feel like Austin, you're just ready to get in there and show
yeah. I
another
am.
version of yourself, another level of yourself, and I'm excited to see that. You know what I mean? Because we've seen you through the years now. You know, are you
Yeah.
surprised how many fights you've gotten in so quickly?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this the other day. I just turned 29 at the end of December,
Hmm.
and I was like, man, I remember starting MMA. I was 20 years old and thinking, man, I got all this time, and here I am, like 9 years in. I'm like, shit, man, this guy goes fast. So it kind of helps, put things into
Hmm.
perspective and like really make the best of these years that however many it ends up being that I have left. Kind of, yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think about, like
Yeah.
going I've made my UFC debut, I don't think, not even a full 2 years ago, and I'm going in on my sixth fight. I'm just, it's, I don't know, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
You want to be here for so long, and then you
Mhm.
get here and it's like I explained it before to someone, like on the regional scene, you're building, you're coming up, you win the LFA belt, you're pretty much top dog on the regional scene. Um, but then when you get to the UFC, it's like you completely wipe all that away. It
Mhm.
means nothing, and you just are right back down here. And I'm just restarting the process, restarting the building process. Each fight, you learn, you grow, you adapt. At least you should be, hopefully. You know what I mean? So yeah, just working my way back up, getting
Definitely, man.
comfortable is a big thing, I feel like, also, so
Definitely, man. You got a great mindset. You got the skills. You know what I mean? Like everybody got the skills in the UFC.
yeah,
You added the
yeah,
mental
for
side
sure.
to it. And yeah, man, it's just about, like you said, rebuilding and regaining the momentum. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Austin, man, for the time.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
great
thank
chatting.
you. No problem, man. Have a good rest of your day.